In this lesson, we're going to subtract polynomials. So recall the negative effect. If you have a negative in front of anything, it sort of negates it, which means that it's going to make whatever it is the very opposite of what it was. So in the parentheses, you have 4z squared plus 4z minus 8. Because it has a negative in front of it, it's going to become negative 4z squared minus 4z plus 8, the very opposite of what it was. Here's another example. Every term inside that parentheses is going to be changed to their opposite. Why? Because that group has a negative in front of it. That's what it does. You can almost think of it as negative 1, because negative 1 times negative 10t cubed is going to be positive 10t cubed. Negative and a negative, again positive. Negative and a positive, negative. Negative and a negative, positive. That's what the negative effect does. Anytime you have a group that have a negative in front of it, everyone in that group will be changed to their opposites. And so you have to keep that negative effect in mind when you are subtracting polynomials. I know many times when grading papers I see careless mistakes where a student may get a subtraction problem wrong simply because they forgot that very important step. So to subtract polynomials, don't forget to change the sign of the second group that is being subtracted. Okay, so here we have this first group, take away the second group, and because that second group has a negative in front of it, it means everyone in that second group must be changed to their opposite. Now notice the first group does not have a negative in front of it, so never ever change the sign of the first group. And I believe you may have learned in high school a term called keep, change, change. Whatever works for you, the bottom line is, I told you the reasoning behind changing the sign is because that group has the negative in front of it. So once you change everyone in that second group to their opposite, from then on, it is just a matter of adding like terms. So you would start with the highest degree first. That's the y squared family. So we see the coefficients here. You have 7 plus 3. So your first term is going to be 10y squared. Then you have your first degree terms, a negative 11 and a negative 4. Signs are the same. Keep the sign, add the numbers. That's going to give you negative 15y. And then lastly, you have your integers. You have a positive 8 and a negative 6. Signs are different. Subtract. Take the sign from the larger number, which is going to give you a final answer of 10y squared minus 15y plus 2. Okay, now let's subtract vertically. So we're just going to place that second group underneath the first group. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and change the sign of that second group. So it's going to wind up becoming 4a squared minus a minus 3. So let's go ahead and write them. And now we're ready to combine our terms, starting with the first column to your left. Signs are the same. Keep the sign, add the numbers. That's going to bring down 12a squared. The next column, signs are different. Subtract, take the sign from the larger number. That's going to bring down 10a. Lastly, we have our integers. Signs are the same. Keep the sign of that negative, add the numbers, and that's going to bring down negative 15.